So what's going on, guys? Right, Box here, and welcome back to some more MotoGP 20. And today we are heading into another 100% full race on MotoGP 20. So we're going to be heading out to Austria, which is going to be the next round. It's going to be a double header Grand Prix. So you head out to the Austrian Grand Prix and then the Styrian Grand Prix, both hosted at the Red Bull Ring. So last time out we did go to the Czech Republic as Jack Miller, but today, in light of Brad Binder and his amazing success out at the Czech Grand Prix, we're going to do a race as Brad Binder at the Austrian Grand Prix. So let's head straight down to the grid. Right then, we're taking a look at Marquez, who I think, is he returning in Austria? I don't know, I haven't checked the news lately. But anyway, he's missed the last few rounds due to his arm injury. But what I'm going to do, we're going to do the Austrian Grand Prix as Brad Binder, and I need to decide on tyres. So I'm thinking a soft front and a medium rear. That might do us nicely, I think, and a full tank of fuel. That will do us, I think. So Brad Binder, first South African to win in the Premier class. What a result that was for him. Absolutely crazy stuff. Crazy. Didn't expect him to win. I thought Morbidelli had it in the bag, to be honest, when he hit the front. But yeah, Quartararo struggled, didn't he? Didn't quite have the pace. He was right up there, but then he dropped off. So I think he probably just struggled with tyre wear more than anything. That was the problem. The rear tyre, they're all concerned about tyres as usual. But yeah, good result for Rossi as well. Top Yamaha apart from Morbidelli. Well, top factory Yamaha, let's say. But anyway, let's get down to this opening part of this race then, in this 100% race. And the KTM, this is actually my first time, apart from when MotoGP 20 was first released, that I'm racing on a KTM. Well, let's hope it's good on the brakes as we're trying to get alongside Nakagami. Not quite able to. Take a very tight line, but we're up into P15 already, so that's decent. Alongside Paul Espargaro, who also did very well until that crash. I mean, I thought it was pretty harsh for Zarco, that penalty. It was more of a racing incident in my view. Let me know what you guys thought down below. But it was a pretty interesting race, to be honest. Pretty exciting. Not the most thrilling of races in terms of lots of wheel-to-wheel action, but a very interesting race weekend nonetheless, with Zarco doing well as well on the podium. So really good. I think the riders think the championship's blown wide open, with Marquez being absent so far this season. Like I said at the start, I don't know if he's back in Austria. I imagine he's trying to be back as soon as he can, but just don't realistically know when that's going to be. So Marquez leading. Rabat came around our outside there using that Ducati power. Let's see if we can get back alongside him. Got the inside if possible. It's crazy that the third tier Ducati team were the ones that ended up on the podium. And the way Zarco took that penalty loop was absolutely insane. How did he get that pinpoint accuracy? Absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know if the riders actually practice in the practice sessions that loop, but it looked like Zarco did. If not, then that was just crazy heat of the moment stuff for Zarco to be able to do that. That was insane. I couldn't believe it when he was going around that line. I was like, oh my god, spinning up the rear tyre, get a little bit of smoke, and just the pinpoint accuracy from Zarco was amazing at that penalty loop. But yeah, they need to introduce the penalty loop into this game. Unless they have, then I haven't realised, but I don't think they have. But that'll be the next step for MotoGP 21, which I'm guessing is going to be an April release. But anyway, we're still in 2020, a long way to go. I think there's 15 rounds in the season. So that's a lot of rounds considering the current climate. So it's good that we've got a decent length season. It's not the full 21 races, whatever it is. But still a decent amount of racing. And we're picking these guys off like flies at the minute. Morbidelli, of course. He's going to be next. And for our career mode, I'm really debating whether to go to Petronas Yamaha or KTM in the next season. Let me know, where shall I go the next season of our MotoGP 20 career mode? I can't really decide, if I'm honest. Got so many options. This season's inspired me just to go to some different teams. Don't fancy a Ducati again. But a KTM or a Yamaha, I'm feeling it. Just don't know whether KTM or Petronas Yamaha. Tough choice. Anyway, back to this race. Currently sat in P9. I'm feeling fairly confident with the bike, to be honest. Tyres are feeling good. Feel like they're in a good temperature window as well. Not wearing through them too bad. We've got two Yamahas here. Rossi and Quartararo, obviously meant due to swap places at the end of the season. 24.7, 26.1. Marquez is absolutely dominating the pace. Rossi's backed off into turn number 1. A bit weird that. And I've got a half decent run, just couldn't get alongside Quartararo. Let's see them. I think as well, going back to the success of KTM last weekend, it just shows the value and sort of the unrecognised value, I think, as well, for Pedrosa becoming test rider at KTM. It sort of, it got announced then, it sort of went under the radar, but now it's paying dividends for KTM, isn't it? They picked up their first win. Pol Espargaro had pace. They got two solid riders. Unfortunately, they're going to be losing Pol Espargaro next season. And I know they have signed their rider lineup, and the Tech 3 bike as well is getting full factory support. So in theory, they've got 4 factory KTMs. So next season, 4 factory KTMs, and if they keep developing the way they're going, they've got the concession rights as well. They could be a force to be reckoned with. But they got Petrucci. Now, I really do not rate Petrucci. I really don't rate him. Not at all. But Brad Binder has to be their man to watch, I think. It's a shame that Pol Espargaro is going now. He probably doesn't want to go now he's seen what's going on with Honda. But I think Pol on the Honda will be decent, to be fair. But you could just see how much Honda struggled. Stefan Bradl and also Alex Marquez, they really struggle. But anyway, let's see if we get past Quartararo. Oh, getting alongside him on the brakes here. Up the inside. Job done. We just haven't quite got the acceleration. Look at the Yamaha. That's where this KTM's lacking in the game, at least. Seem to have decent power in the at the Czech Grand Prix. Oh, Quartararo, get out of it. So, once we clear Rins, it's inevitable we will. Got a bit of a gap to the fifth. Whoa, to the 5th place man there. Not sure who it is. Is it a Ducati? Looks like a Ducati. So I've got to try and get my act together. Once we clear Rins, if we can clear Rins. Which we should be able to do. Especially with the pace into the penultimate corner then. A little bit wide on exit. Flick it back underneath of him into the final corner. Good job there. Nice. Nicely done. It's Jack Miller and then Petrucci, then Vinales. Whoa, Rins trying up the inside there. The gap's 3.5 seconds up to Jack Miller for 5th place. And then we'll be in the top 5. And then it's Dovi, or is it Vinales? One of them. And then it's onto the podium positions. So let's get our head down for a few laps now. Been chatting for the opening sort of 5 laps or so. So let's get our head down, see if we can push this KTM. And we'll try and get ourselves into the top 5. So just that fast lap of the race. Gained it all in the last sector. For the last sort of lap and a half, I've been maintaining the gap at 3.5. But now the past half a lap or so, we've really started to find our rhythm. So let's keep plucking away. Hopefully we'll catch up to Miller pretty soon. Another fastest lap back to back. Fastest laps are really coming into our own with this KTM now. So we've caught up then to Miller, Petrucci, not Dovi, and Vinales. I'm guessing Dovi's in second place. And we've been lapping pretty quickly. Last lap, I did make a slight mistake and I didn't manage to get 3 back-to-back fastest laps of the race. That would have been insane, but the pace is encouraging. We've got 18 laps to go after this one. So I'm kind of hoping if I can clear these 3 in the next sort of 2-3 laps, we can then have a good half a race to try and close down what I'm going to assume is Dovi and Marquez. But here we go, up the inside of Jack Miller. Oh, yes. Job done. Into the final corner. Next on the list, Danilo Petrucci, obviously going to Tech 3 KTM next year. But yeah, Dovi is in second place. So another 24 lap time, 24.8, about 4 tenths off of the fastest lap, which we have the fastest lap of the race. So decent. You could just see that the Ducati pulls away, and look, Miller's really closing in. Straight line speed for this KTM isn't on our side, but we can make it work. We can definitely make it work. We can really push it on the brakes. It's nice and stable on the brakes. Good through the corners. Just look at that straight line speed from the Ducati. But again, because we're good on the brakes, you can really get back at the Dukes. You can see there, Petrucci just got thrown on Vinales. So Petrucci now, 3rd place. Track obviously suiting the Ducatis. And let's see if we can find a way past Vinales now then. Shouldn't be too long. The factory Duke is going to be more tricky, I think, though. Oh, a little bit of contact there with Vinales, but we're going to go for it up the inside. Whoa. Bit heavy on the brakes there, but we made it through. Out the final corner. Right, so give it another lap and we should be through on Petrucci, I hope. I'm going to use power mode 2. Our front tyre maybe starting to get a little bit hot as we sat in the dirty air of Danilo Petrucci. So let's get some fresh air on our tyres, help cool it down a little bit at the front. The Yamaha behind dropping back. So let's see if we can get Petrucci. Don't know where. Wonder if we get him on the brakes. Let's see. Watch the straight line speed here. Acceleration, he's away. And then he just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds all the way down that back straight here. We gain it back sort of in the braking zone. Take a nice tight line compared to that factory Duke. But he just stretches his legs out the corners. Again, we close it up on the brakes. Oop, a little bit on the curb there. We close it back up, a little bit wide as well. Making most of the track. And just out the corner, he gets away. That factory Duke, very hard to get ahead of. So let's see. Maybe we can do something to the final corner. That's where we've been pretty strong. Oh, the rear end almost kicked us out there. What about turn number 1? I'm worried we're sort of starting to lose a little bit of time sat behind Danilo. 25.1. Closing him down. Here we go. Up the trying to get alongside. Up the inside. Not quite going to work. He holds it. And again, he stretches his legs out of turn number 1. He's just pulling away. How's he do this? KTM, give me a better engine. Oh, really pushing it on the brakes there. Rammed it into first gear just to try and help get it all slowed down, and I just messed up on exit. Don't know where I was going then. Come on. Again, strong on the brakes. I'm going to go power mode 2 through this sector, see if we can get a decent exit to try and clear him. I want to get past him. Proving more difficult than I thought. Petrucci up in this pace. Come on. Oh, that's better. See if we can hook up a decent exit now with power mode 2. It might just help us do something. No. Maybe on the brakes though. Whoa. No, he's just too good. A little bit wide again. What about turn number 1? Again, he just pulls away. Look at that Ducati fly. Look at it fly. Again, on the brakes, we close it all down and try to get alongside. Again, I can't put the power down. It's lap after lap, I can't get past this Duke. But the pram up behind us dropped. Vinales. Come on, let's get a decent exit. Let's go. No, he's just pulling away and pulling away. Uh-oh. And Jack Miller's come to join the fight. The Ducati's starting to go very quickly around here. See if we can keep the momentum going. 6/10 off of Petrucci now. Whoa, a little slip from the rear there. I think my race plan isn't going to pan out where I have half a race just to try and close down the front two. I need to try and get another fast lap of the race in. Alex Marquez, I've just noticed, is moving his way up through the order behind. Keep seeing it on the left hand side. He's getting overtake after overtake. Marc Marquez has a pretty decent gap to Dovizioso now. Definitely not getting the win here. Petrucci checking us out because he can hear us and we're not going away. 25-1 now. Here we go. Oh, that was awful. Too much curve. That shallow line didn't pay off. Right, we've got a little bit of work to do. I'm just going to get my head down and see if I can catch right up to the back of Danilo. Oh, he's up run into the penultimate corner. I'm just rinsing power mode 2 just to try and get alongside Petrucci. We get the job done in the end at the final corner. And now we're going to see what the gap is to Dovi, 8.6. Can we close that down? Well, let's try. Absolutely no guarantees though. Got to keep Petrucci at bay because he's going to be quick over the first half of this lap at least. Another 24.4. I've been setting about 24.5s for the past 2 or 3 or 4 laps. So consistently smashing the 24.4, 24.5, 24.6 sort of mark. Very, very consistent for a pace from us on this KTM. 23.8. We've absolutely smashed the fastest lap of the race. I think it's as the fuel is starting to drop off this KTM. There's only about 6 laps to go. We've really started to work the bike though. If you look at that rear tyre, it's starting to take a bit of a beating, but overall we've only closed the gap down by about 7/10 of a second over the past 6 laps or so. So hopefully it's just smooth sailing to this P3 position then. So not long to go, about 3 or 4 laps, and the pace of, well, our pace is starting to drop a little bit. I think the tyres have had it. Look at the rear tyre in the bottom right. It's hot, it's worn. The front's a little bit hot as well, but so the tyres start to feel a little bit squidgy. They're not biting the circuit like they were at the start of the race. You can see as well that we're sort of now hovering about the 8.5 second mark to Dovizioso. So lost a few tenths over the last few laps or so, and that trend seems to be continuing. So let's get our head down and bring it home for P3. Got to watch out for, I presume it's Petrucci still behind, or it could be Miller. I think Dovi's caught right up to Marc Marquez now. I don't know what's going on up there. But 24.2, that's a decent lap time. 6.2 is the gap. I don't know what they're doing. They're right up in front, they're right next to each other. I think they're battling, to be honest. And we're catching up at an absolute rate of knots now. I'm still lapping about the same, low to mid 24s. And we really are catching up. At 6.2 last time. 6 flat this time. Before that it was 6.7. See what it is through the final corner. Marc Marquez still marginally ahead. It's going to come down to the last lap. 24.2. 5.6. This is crazy stuff. A little bit wide there. You can see they're really battling up the road. But Dovi he had quite a ways to go to catch up to Marquez, so I don't know if Marquez dropped off the pace or what. Don't know what's happened, to be honest. But either way, we really are catching up. I don't think we'll be able to overtake them, but we can really push on. .6. What is going on here? I can see them. It's too little too late. A lap or two more maybe. But this is crazy. I don't know what they're doing. They've dropped right off the pace, I think. I wonder the gap's gonna be 4.4. KTM looking after its tyres pretty well considering. Final corner then. Marc Marquez takes the win. Pretty close for him at the end. And we finish 3rd place for Brad Binder. Not bad. 23.8 fastest lap of the race. 24.4 for Marc Marquez. That's crazy. So Quartararo 4th. He came up out of nowhere. Petrucci 5th. Crutchlow 6th. Miller 7th. Vinales went right back. Alex Marquez climbed up to P9. Rossi only P11. Our teammate only P16. Oliveira. Zarco P19. Nakagami in last place. So that's been it for today's 100% race on MotoGP 20 as Brad Binder getting a podium for the KTM rider. He'd be absolutely thrilled with a podium after that win last weekend, I think. So let's cheer him on. Let's hope Brad Binder gets another podium or even another race win. That'd be absolutely crazy. That would really spice up the championship. Everyone thought after the first 2 rounds Quartararo is going to breeze through. Wow, no. He's still very young. He's relatively inexperienced when you think about someone like Marquez. Marc Marquez, I like to think he could turn up to any race weekend and take the win. Whereas Quartararo, he could turn up to most race weekends and take the win. And yeah, it's interesting to see people like Brad Binder and even his teammate Morbidelli putting on a show for us. So let's hope it's another good one out of Austria. Pretty interesting season so far this year. Do let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you are new around here, make sure you get subscribed for plenty more MotoGP gaming content. And I will see you guys in the next one.